Hello, everybody. Ella Jay here for a special episode of A Wrestling Gal. At the time of recording this, it is the 5-year anniversary week of A Wrestling Gal. Tomorrow is actually the 5-year anniversary date. And so, for this special occasion, we're going to be coming out with not one, but two episodes. Earlier this week, you would have already seen my interview with my good friend, Allie Albright, who I've known since well before she became a professional wrestler. My guest has also known her just as long as I have. I had to bring it back full circle for this occasion to bring back the very person, my very first guest ever on a Wrestling Gal, episode one. And now here we are 280 plus episodes later. She is a professional wrestling correspondent, ring announcer, and sometimes manager. You know her as Samira. Samira, how are you today?
Hi, sis. How are you? I'm good.
I'm fantastic. We were talking about off air. It's been a hot minute since the last time I had you on here. I took a little bit of about a year of a break. So granted, there was a little bit of, hiatus in there, but I think it's been about 2 years since we've had you on here. And I had to bring it back full circle because you were the first ever guest on my show. So here we are. A lot has changed. So for this special occasion, I wanted to do something a little bit different. I haven't really done one of these types of episodes in a while. For the special celebration anniversary, I didn't ask me anything, and I told people I would have a very special guest. They didn't know that it would be you, but obviously, if they're watching this, they do. We got some wrestling questions, we got some podcasting questions, we got some random questions there. Where do you want to start with? Do you want to start with some wrestling, some podcasting, or throw some random stuff at you?
I mean, listen, it's your show. It's the 5-year anniversary. I literally cannot believe that. I remember when we recorded the first episode. I mean, take it away. You pick first. Go ahead.
Hmm. We'll start with one from our good friend Jose Gonzalez. He replied, I asked people on Twitter, they could respond via Twitter or they could reply anonymously on NGL. So we got a bunch over there and a bunch on Twitter as well. Jose asked two questions. The second one is more directed at me because you don't really follow those shows. But this one, me and you have had a few of these together, and he asked favorite wrestling trip moments. I for me, I know which one. I'll let you think. I know which one's right off the bat. My first ever pay-per-view, Empower. It's gonna be 3 years next month, which is crazy. I think one of my favorite moments, and we did a whole episode back in the day all about that trip, but I think the funniest thing, like the my favorite moment was us finding out last minute that we were gonna be paparazzi for Melina at Empower, which was Mickey James's first ever all women's pay-per-view. We found out that I was already pretty much already dressed in the getup. They wanted us to wear like all black to be paparazzi for her entrance. You really didn't have anything black. So I remember us going back to our hotel, changing really quickly, doing our makeup, and then we had to run, I think it was a rainbow for you to
Yeah.
buy a shirt. I think you had black pants, but you didn't have a black shirt. So we literally had to go shopping and then rushed back there so then we could go through rehearsals and then practice our camera poses, shuttering the camera. We were very thorough. Honestly, we were very professional. We were very dedicated to the bit. We practiced. So I feel like that has to be one of my favorite wrestling moments, strip moments.
Oh my God, that was so iconic. I just like, and then I just remember us like it was so clear out that Monday that I had to
Yeah.
leave, and then it just
Oh,
started.
this is another moment. Yeah.
Oh my God, that was so iconic. Oh my God. That's definitely one of my favorite trip moments as well. Um,
Oh,
oh,
well, so for those who don't know what we're talking about, it was Monday in St. Louis. Started off sunny. We were just hanging out before tapings that night. Samira was supposed to go home that day. She didn't end up for reasons. We went to a CVS to buy some stuff, and then all of a sudden, just a flash flood. It's basically like a monsoon, honestly. A flash flood just comes running through the streets downtown St. Louis while we're waiting for our Uber outside, and it just comes down drenched. The streets are flooded instantly. It was a long time. We tried to get back to our hotel. We had to make a stop first. And then we ended up being so delayed that you missed your flight by minutes.
well,
By minutes.
I didn't miss it. What had happened was that time I had checked my bag because I had like stuff in there that like obviously I didn't we're not carry on accessible in a sense. Like it was
Yeah.
over the size limit.
Yeah.
And they wouldn't check my bag because I you have to be there 45 minutes before like to do that. And obviously I did not make it.
You were
And my mom,
late.
I
Mhm.
remember I'm like, oh my God, what am I gonna do? Like I can't put this as my carry-on. So I was like, oh, you know what? They could change it for free for the morning, like after. Sold. I get to stay another day. Let's do it.
Yeah,
I
she's lucky that I
call
was staying an
Ella.
extra day.
Ella was just about to leave to go to the tapings. I'm like, hey, did you leave it? And you're like, yeah, I'm just about to go. I'm like, well, can you wait for me? I'm on my way back.
She was so lucky that I was staying an extra night. Like,
That was so, oh my God, that was so fun. I can't believe that. Oh my God, 3 years already. But that was definitely a fun trip. I think that was one of my favorites.
you've had a lot. You're traveling multiple times a month now, so you've had a bunch.
Yeah. Oh my God. But I'm trying to think of one that we've had together. I really liked when we went to karaoke in Dallas. That was
Mhm.
fun. Oh my God. SummerSlam 2022 Nashville with me, you, and Malcolm.
He
Oh
got
my.
the whole section to cheer for Logan Paul. I have to give him credit. This man is dedicated. And for those who don't know, he's going to be making his professional wrestling debut next month against AJ Francis. But first, you'll see me and him at SummerSlam. So if you see us there, say hello. But I remember him getting the whole section to cheer for Logan Paul. He was the only one, and then he got our whole section cheering for Logan Paul. Meanwhile, I'm the only one that cheering for the Miz.
That was just a time. Oh my, that was so funny. And how we even got to go to SummerSlam, that was a cool moment. Like guys, we even talked about this publicly. Like we were just about to get tickets. We had went to Starcast, me, Ella, and Malcolm, doing like interviews and stuff. Back when I was still doing like interviews for like websites or on behalf of myself. And we're like, oh, where are we gonna sit? We're gonna buy, last minute tickets so they're not as expensive. And one of our friends had a bunch of extra tickets and just gave us tickets for free. That was such an iconic moment. And we had a fun time. That was a
Yeah,
good summer time. And then we partied.
we did. I'm trying to think of what else. Oh, man, WrestleMania was obviously really fun in Dallas.
Oh, that
Um,
was such a busy weekend. Oh
Philly
no.
Philly was fun too. Last year. I haven't seen you since then.
Oh my God. All I remember was us ordering Panda Express when I got there. And that was the first time I ever had Panda Express. And then we had so much fun at the show. And, oh, karaoke after that was fun because we met those group of people and we all got
Yeah.
to like that was and they were singing Metalingus with us. Oh, that was so iconic.
I think for me individually, last year, again, it was something I was manifesting for the longest time. Survivor Series. If you didn't follow me last year, it was every week, every Monday, my I Miss Randy Orton tweets came full circle when I got to see his return at Survivor Series. It was right. It was only right that I was there for it. Now, I just have to say that he has not won a pay-per-view/PLE match since then. He has lost 6 straight PLE matches. Now, the last time he got a win was when I was there. I'm going to SummerSlam, so if he gets a win, I'm just saying I'm his good luck charm on PLEs if I'm there, if he wins.
That
I'm
means you
just
have to
saying.
every PLE now so he
I
can win.
know. Oh my gosh, I know. But that kind of transitions into another question that we had from our good friend Chris Riddle. Knowing that I'm a big Randy Orton fan, those who know your early days know Samira is/was as well. So, favorite
Still
Randy
is just not
still
as
is. Yes.
I don't even know what the word was, but she simmered down. She's
Yeah.
mm.
Yeah. But favorite Randy Orton looks. Now, honestly, I love Randy. Gear isn't really his forte. It's not really something that he's really known for. But the first one that instantly came to my mind that was kind of different, different from his standard black with whatever color accents. Was WrestleMania 37, he wore the white gear with the red accents, with the logo on there, when he faced The Fiend. That was a look we hadn't really seen him wear white before. Also, like, Legacy days, it was black gear, but it was nice gold accents on there as well. He's not really known for his gear too much, but I think the white and red gear really stood out to me because it was something we hadn't seen in a while from him. I'm curious from your perspective, favorite Randy Orton looks slash gears.
I agree with you in a sense, like he's not known for his gear, but when he
Yeah.
does it up, we're like, oh my god, like because everybody just like no
Mhm.
known for the black gear with like the white. Um, I really liked earlier days, like Evolution. He did like
Yeah.
red. He was doing different colors, red and purple and stuff like that. But anything recent, I know he did like what it was like a gray or silver a couple years back. That one was pretty cool. I thought it fit with him. I wonder if we'll eventually see a change again.
Maybe I mean, he says well, at this point, he says he's got another 9 years left, barring any injuries and all of that. He's had a heck of a run since coming back. I'm waiting for that heel turn. We've seen him eyeing Cody Rhodes' undisputed WWE championship. It's coming. Maybe that's hence the resurrection of a pay-per-view called Bad Blood. There could be some
No,
bad blood there.
this is not fair. Okay, we didn't get rated RKO, and now I'm not gonna get Legacy either. Like, come on, come
I
on.
mean, you can't really get full legacy for
It's
reasons.
it's okay that we can't get full Legacy. We all understand that, but I need something here. Okay, I
They
need
they
five
they've been
these
they've been
old groups.
teaming together. Randy Orton took a beating for Cody Rhodes on SmackDown at the end of the week last
It's not
week.
Legacy. It's not Legacy.
I mean, they just had a tag team match together
It
the
doesn't
last
count.
pay-per-view at Money in the Bank.
It doesn't count.
Kevin Owens was the unofficial third legacy member.
I'm sorry. I can't.
It's true.
I still wanted Legacy. They could have done it. It would have been
You
cool.
so you want them to say
I
formal legacy is
I
what you want.
yes, and the theme song, it was iconic. I
Mhm.
mean, the slow walk down the ramp.
Well, I have to as take a word out of Drew McIntyre's playbook. I'm about to break your dream, I feel like. Because it seems like Randy, I don't know whether it'd be at WrestleMania or Bad Blood, it's just inherent that he's gonna turn on Cody at some point and then challenge for the title. It has to happen. It's what I want. It's what I need. Switching gears here, we got a good question from my good friend Jamie from Grapple Theory, on the NGL Not Gonna Lie app. He says, "Congrats on 5 years. You continue to be a huge inspiration. I'm so happy for your success. Thank you so much, Jamie." In 5 years of a wrestling gal, I guess in your case, because you still interview wrestlers to this day and you have on your channel, I have two answers for this. He asks, "What is the most taken back slash mind blown by a wrestler answering something in a way you totally weren't expecting?" Now, I have two, for not for legal purposes, but for personal reasons. I'm not going to be naming specific names, although Samira will know one of them. Will know
Oh
one
no.
of this story. Um, I will not be naming names because, granted, the first one, I was never asked to take it out of the interview. Like, he was fine with me keeping it in, but it was so out of pocket, that I was like, it was so out of pocket. So a couple years ago, the first example, a couple years ago, I interviewed a wrestler, pretty well-known wrestler, very well-known now. And they were talking about their thoughts on another pretty well-known wrestler, who some people, actually a lot of people aren't very fond of. Um, and so they compared this other wrestler to OJ Simpson, and Samira knows exactly what I'm talking about. I could have left it in. I was never asked to take it out. Like, he was pretty, they were pretty assertive in what they were saying, so I could have kept it in, but it was just so out of pocket. And there was a lot of other comments I just could not keep them there just because they were so out of pocket. But essentially, this person did not like this wrestler and they had some personal grievances with them, which understandably so in their case. And a lot of people don't like this other wrestler because they're not really a good human being. Um, he compared name dropped him, compared him to OJ Simpson. Um, you guys can speculate on that. Some people know. If you know, you know. Maybe I'll release the footage one day. I don't know. I still have it. And I still have the audio to it, so we'll see what happens there. Another example, again, I won't be naming names because I never broadcasted it. But I was doing an interview a couple years ago for a wrestling gal, and I scroll through people's like social medias, like Instagram and stuff like that. And if I see they meet like a very well known, I'll just say it was a WWE Hall of Famer. Like you want to ask like how was your experience meeting them, because I had only really heard good things about this WWE Hall of Famer. But I guess sometimes when they say you should never meet your heroes, maybe you shouldn't in some cases. So basically, like it did not. I asked him. I thought it went well by the looks of their caption. Evidently, it did not. Behind the scenes, and so they were telling me about it, and then we both just decided to scrap the question. We tried to re-answer it 3 different times to make it not so animated. Um, but needless to say, that footage will never be seeing the light of day. I kind of don't blame them though, based on what they were telling me. So maybe sometime you should meet your heroes, because sometimes they can be bad people. But that was funny. We tried 3 times to frame it in a way that, wasn't totally shitting on the person, but understandably so, I kind of would be shitting on that person too in that scenario. Um, so I won't say it was an indie wrestler talking about a WWE Hall of Famer they met. I'll leave it at that. But yeah, I've definitely had some moments that I wasn't expecting. I'm sure you have as well. You work with a lot indie wrestlers on a weekly, semi-weekly basis.
Oh my god. It's like, because you just sometimes like you never know what they're truly gonna say or do. You're just kind of like there, especially if some of they all of them get along with each other. If even if you don't like them personally, you get
Yeah.
along. But it's like if you're friends with somebody and then they don't get along, and then you're just sitting there in the interview and you just hear how they are, and you're like, oh. And you just know, and I'm just sitting there. Of course, I'm doing my facial reactions to what they're saying, but and then in the back of my mind, I'm like, oof, like, oh god, this is just like I'm like, and I'm just sitting there thinking, how is so and so gonna react to this?
Yeah.
Especially like I've seen it already happen with like friends in promo work. Like I'm just like, this is getting real personal real fast. And some people don't know that. And like the people behind the scenes do, and I'm just like, geez, like this is something, but I'm not getting involved. I'm just here to do my
Yeah.
job. So that was kind of crazy. Back from like my actual interviewing days, like on camera and Zoom, there's not one that I can think of. The only thing I can think of was I interviewed a wrestler like in my first time ever doing interviews like at a convention, like when I first started. And I don't know if this wrestler was just having a bad day or what it was. They still agreed to do the interview. I told them if they didn't want to, it was totally cool. Like, it, but they still did it. Went to thank the person, they just kind of completely walked away. I don't know what was going on. I've never seen this wrestler like since, not that I know of. But hey, like I said, maybe they were having a bad day. I just thought that was just kind of weird. Like I wasn't forcing them to do this interview. I
Yeah.
wasn't like, no, you're but it was just it was weird.
I'm so curious now. Obviously, so I got some other anonymous questions on NGL, and my answer for this question hasn't really changed because none of them. I mean, one of them could come true next month, I suppose, possibly. But as you're looking towards the future now, you're obviously backstage interviewing a lot. and you're doing interviews in general, who are some of your dream interview guests?
Oof. I always say number one, no matter what, if it's a sit down or if even it's a backstage, if it were to ever happen, of course it's gonna be Randy Orton.
Yeah.
That's I love professional wrestling. Like that
Hmm.
would be such a big thing for me, big dream come true for me, like a full circle moment.
Yeah. I have I have 4 that come t 5 that come to mind. One kind of happened, asked a question to Charlotte Flair at a media scrum last year at Survivor Series, so a little bit, but not like a full-blown thing. Jamie Hayter is one that she again, full circle, her and Britt Baker was the first ever indie match that I ever saw, got me hooked on that. Dakota Kai is another one. I mean, depending what SummerSlam is looking like, Media Row, maybe next month, I don't know. Um, Adam Copeland is currently injured, so unfortunately that's not going to be happening. And also Hangman Adam Page. I those are kind of my top 5 and have been for a while now. One of them could be coming true next month. One kind of has, I'm so curious for you. You're in this industry. I mean, we both are. How do you stay up to date with like the latest news and trends and stories? Because there is so much going on. There's so much television. There's so much going on. You have to especially focus on the indies too for yourself. Um, Mine is more so the main scale and all of that because I'm writing news every week. We're doing interviews on indie guests and stuff like that. So how do you stay up to date on all the latest news and trends and stories?
Social media really like because everybody's like always talking about something. It's always there. It's a good tool to have to keep up with everything, whether it's mainstream or indies. And thankfully, there's a lot of like for the mainstream, we know where to go to watch it. If not, there's how many networks, and that goes with independent wrestling too. There's so many streaming apps that you could just go ahead and watch it, and it's especially like helpful. Like if I am going to a newer promotion that I've never been to, and I need to know what their story is, especially as a backstage interviewer. Like if they're not like besides them giving me notes and stuff that they want me to do, like I want to understand the storyline just like that's so easy. Go to their streaming platform, watch the latest shows, try to get in the know and like who the characters are and what the storylines are, and just like kind of figuring it out like that.
Okay, so I'm kind of the same way, Also, my job is a lot to stay up to date. I honestly stay up to date a lot of the times through the work I'm doing, writing stories about certain things that I'm assigned to or I see on the boards of the writing sites I work for. So some of my job keeps me updated on a lot of it too. And even if I can't watch stuff like you said, Twitter is a great place for updates. I don't care what people say. Sometimes though, if you're not feeling like watching it, honestly, Twitter can give you a good synopsis most of the time. Um, Other times, I have so many group chats going on that my friends will just text me updates without even asking. Like, I find out news that way. Like, did you see so and so did? And I'm like, what? Or they're like, did you see this happen? I'm like, what? So honestly, sometimes it's just by chance because we're in so many different. There's so many friends in this bubble. So half the time, somebody else will inform you of something. Um, Shifting away from wrestling a little bit into the more podcasting side of it, our good friend at John Cena Cruz asks, when you were first setting up your podcast, I guess in your case it would be interviews and all of that. How did you decide what equipment to use for your setup? So for me, starting out, I was on a very low budget. I didn't even have a proper desk. I had this little like table thing, and I searched online. Google was a lot like affordable like microphones, and it was a Samson Q2U. I still have it. I used that mic, I think, for the first 2 years of my podcast, and then I switched to my Shure, I think it's an FM7 or Shure 7, something like that. SM7, something like that. I upgraded once I was working and could afford more, and get an actual webcam because for the first 2 years, year and a half, I did audio only. I was so afraid of video. Then I upgraded obviously to a Logitech webcam and have had that ever since. But starting out, there's a lot of affordable options, whether it's a Samsung. I know the Rode mics are pretty affordable. They have some stuff there. I remember Samira with her Yeti Snowball. She probably still has it. I did get a Yeti. It wasn't too expensive. I think it was like 80 bucks. But that I've noticed is better if you're like an ASMR artist, honestly, because it captures everything, bro. So if you're into ASMR and you're doing that, Yeti, Blue Yeti, great. Not so much. I wouldn't recommend it for podcasts or interviews because even if you have to turn the gain, you either have it really low to where you can't hear anything, or even if you go towards the middle, it captures everything. So unless you're doing ASMR, don't suggest the Yeti. I mean, I pretty much gave yours away. You had you had the Yeti Snowball, I remember that.
Oh, like that one just was like, and then I got a new one that like I use like time to time, like for when I'm still doing stuff online. But I remember I was using like these ring lights, these not like the one that I have now, like if anybody's seen it, it's like this big thing.
Yeah.
But
Oh,
it
ring
I was
light too, yeah.
yeah, like it's huge now, and I'll get to that, but and I use that for interviews and stuff. But like doing interviews from like here, what I used to do, I'd get these like ones from Amazon. I think I got one from Wish at one point, and it was just like maybe this big. It wasn't too big. I used that for like, the lighting. And as Ella said, I had like this microphone, and then I used a webcam from maybe like Amazon or something. And I bought a new one from Amazon. I still use that. Like
Mhm.
they're just good, honestly. And I used those for a while. And then now for my equipment when I travel, I have two sets of equipment. I bought a tripod from Amazon that's like easy travelable travelable
Portable.
that I could just take with me if I need anything. Like so I don't take the bigger one. And then I have this clip-on light that I use from Amazon, which I'm currently using, and it's great. Like you can change the warmth, everything. Like it's great. And then my bigger one, like you just really got to invest in yourself sometimes, and especially for the promotion. So the light that I have, it's a tripod and it's a light. It's this big thing,
Yeah.
vesting colors, everything. Like I travel that with that, like when it's like all like Jersey, PA, like stuff around here where I could easily like take it with me and not fly with. And it's the best investment ever from Amazon. It's like 50, 60 bucks. I highly recommend that. Like even for being at home too, like for like sitting down interviews, because that light is amazing. It's great for content creation.
Yeah, I have my tripod with a ring light attached to it, and it has a little phone holder too. I have a separate one. Travel is different. I have a separate one that doesn't have a ring light because it's hard to travel with a bulky ass ring light and like your carry
Yeah.
on or something. So I normally just bring just a tripod with the phone stand or something, or like, with the camera stand. And then just pray that the lighting is good. And then my portable mic is obviously different now. Um, Traveling is different though, but I don't travel as much. But I've
Oh,
upgraded a
I use,
little bit in recent years.
like you, I use a Shure microphone for then my interviews, because I'm like
Yeah.
I like Shure, they're good, and then just like lavaliers. But you
Yeah.
should get then the light that I have for like if for whatever the reason, like the lighting
Mm.
is not good forever. Get this one, guys. It's amazing.
She'll have to send me a link to it after this.
Drop in the below.
Another question from our good friends at Good Cop, Bad Cop Wrestling Podcast. What advice would you give to aspiring podcasters to get them through not 5 years, but their first 5 episodes? Um, Definitely decent audio. You don't have to, you shouldn't have the best unless you're really rich. You don't need to have the best audio and stuff, but make sure people can hear you. That's going to be the first thing. If people can't hear or understand you, that's going to be, doesn't matter how good your content is or your script is or what you're talking about, that's going to turn them off. So I would say definitely doesn't need to be the best, but as long as people can understand your audio, or if you're going video too, just to just not like 360 480p and above. Like it doesn't need to be like 720 480p and above, like fine. Um and all of that. Also, like, just having a good attitude, you don't wanna sound, like, too monotone, you know, especially in your first couple episodes, you're gonna be nervous, you're still finding your voice. Maybe you hate the sound of your voice like I did. That's why I edited my first ever episode with Samira, like, 8 times. The second half was just me in that episode. I redid it, like, 8 times because I hated the sound of my voice. You know, just realize that you're just starting out too, and to not go too hard on yourself because nobody's first ever of anything, early stuff is never that good, right? It just isn't. So not being too hard on yourself as well. What like I mean, you've worked in interviewing and YouTube content too. What would you say advice then through your first like 5 episodes of something?
It's definitely dedication. Like I know it's hard at first, like getting your footing and just thinking, who's watching or who's listening, because if you're like looking at numbers and if numbers are low or it's not what you want it to be, it's just trying to stick with it to make it a habit, because it everything takes time. And that's, I understand, like that's the hard part. I know that was hard for me, like starting out with everything takes time. You just have to stay dedicated and just keep working hard, because things will happen with time. Because I know it's hard. It is like, that's like sometimes the downside of it is mentally you where you want to be, but just doing every like all those steps to get there.
Yeah, you know, definitely persistence and dedication, yeah. Yeah. And decent audio will also help you out as well if you want to on the technical side. Couple more questions. This one isn't really directed at you because I don't think you watch any of these shows, but Jose has put me into an impossible question of FMK between Survivor, Big Brother, and the Traitors. Now, anybody who knows me, I've been watching Big Brother since 2005. Been watching Survivor since 2009. The Traitors I've more recently, but I've gone through and watched all of New Zealand, Australia, the UK, and the US versions. Have not watched Canada yet because I can't figure out how to watch it. But in this scenario, I think because it's so recent, I love it, but it's so recent, I have to kill the traitors. I'm so sorry. Even though Nikki Bella is going to be on the next season of the US and Gail Kim is rooming for the Traitors Canada, oh, they haven't come out yet though, so I could bring them back to life for those occurrences. I think I would marry Survivor because I think that's my favorite, like of all the reality shows. Survivor is just when it's Survivor season, Wednesdays are for Survivor. And Big Brother, been watching for 19 years now. I guess I would have to F it. I mean, the feeds are 24/7. You know, so it takes you through the night, through the day. It's 24/7, you know? I don't know. It's just I don't know, it's a guilty not a guilty pleasure, but it kind of is, you know, because there's so much drama. I love it, I hate it. I love it, I hate it. So I don't think I could commit to marrying it. So that's why I'm gonna go with F for Big Brother. Um, Now I know you love like Love Island. Do you watch The Perfect Match?
So I didn't watch Love Island. I was watching Love Island UK for a while, but then I stopped. But yeah, I watched Perfect Match.
What other reality shows do you watch?
Like Netflix ones or any.
Doesn't matter.
Jersey Shore. What else did I watch?
Do you watch
I
any other reality like competition or game shows, I mean?
oh yeah, yeah, on man, what's that one? The Circle. I haven't watched the
Yeah,
latest yet. I'm
I
still
have.
to. So The Circle. What else is on Netflix? Too Hot to Handle. Love is
Mm.
Blind. What else? I'm like Netflix has.
Okay. Well, you gave me okay, so we're gonna put make you do FMK. Um, between you said you watched The Perfect Match.
Yeah.
Between Perfect Match, Love is Blind, and what else?
What, Too Hot to Handle?
Yeah, we're gonna do Too Hot to Handle, Love is Blind, and The Perfect Match, FMK. They're all kind of very similar.
They're all kind of similar but different too. Oh my
Okay.
god.
I've never seen any of them. I
It's
just know
hard.
Chloe. I think Chloe from Too Hot to Handle, she was on The Circle. That's the only reason I know her.
Yeah, and then she was on Perfect Match season 1.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay, so it's hard because like they all have like different seasons, but
Yeah.
okay. So you said Perfect Match, Love is Blind, and Too Hot to Handle.
Yeah.
Oh God. Okay, so I think I'd marry Love is Blind because that show is just always just something about it is so good, even though it's so much like it's so crazy, but like it's still good. It's such good television. Like I'm so hooked when it comes out. Like I'm always waiting for those episodes to drop. I'd fuck Perfect Match because that drives me insane, but I love it. Again, like I love it. It drives you crazy because you're like you see them from their other shows and you kind of get
Yeah.
the of like how they were from like their season. I mean, obviously you don't really know them, but like you're just sitting there
Mm.
the drama this past season, like I was like, oh my god, like come on. Like
Yeah.
it was like what the heck. And then I kill Too Hot to Handle. I love that show. I really do, but I don't know if it's just because Perfect Match and I feel like Love is Blind was more recent that I'm like killing Too Hot to Handle. I really like the earlier seasons. I feel like I need to go back and like rewatch it all again because that show is insane too. Like because you're like I'm just sitting there thinking like y'all just can't keep it together for a little bit. Y'all are wasting all this money. Like hold it together, people. Come on. But so yeah, I think that's my lineup there.
Hmm. Okay. Interesting. I only know Chloe from I think she's from Too Hot to Handle. That's because of the circle
Yeah.
though. That's the
Yeah,
only
so
reason I know her. It's because of the
yeah,
circle.
so she came from Too Hot to Handle. I think it was
Yeah.
like season 2 or 3, and
Yeah.
then joined the circle, and then she did Perfect Match.
Okay. Okay. Well, final question, you kind of answered this a little bit. What are some of your interests slash passions slash hobbies outside of professional wrestling?
Well, I'm like I had to kind of readjust that because I was off for like 2 weekends from wrestling. I'm like, what do I do with myself?
Yeah.
So wrestling, the gym. So that's actually where I just like came from before this. We were filming this episode. So the gym, I found my love for the gym. I love obviously watching Netflix. Like I love reality shows. It's one of my favorite guilty pleasures. But I love being with family and friends because sometimes I don't get enough time of that with being like on my shoot job and then being on the road so much. I'm like realizing like how important that really is to spend some time with people, and it's nice. But that's like some of my guilty pleasures. I also really love shopping. I mean, who doesn't?
I mean, duh. Oof. I mean, shopping is definitely online shopping specifically because I don't leave the house much. I'm a kind of a homebody and I work from home anyways, for those who don't know me. Um Reality television, like I put a PSA on Twitter. It is Big Brother season for the next 89 day. Well, now, okay, at the time of recording this is 91. For the next 3 months, you're gonna be seeing Big Brother content from me, and then Survivor's gonna roll around. So reality television like Survivor, Big Brother, The Circle, The Traitors, The Mole I just finished on Netflix. Very shocked that it was not who everybody thought it was. I won't give spoilers, but it was not who like 90% of us thought who it was. So that was a shock. Um uh True crime or like crime dramas like SVU and CIS, stuff like that. I'm currently not a crime thing, but I'm rewatching PLL. I made it to season 5. No, I've gone through it.
Oof.
Um, Obviously, I love wrestling. Twitch is a big thing. I love like watching the party games, and I'm still in the Among Us phase. Still in the Among Us phase, guys. Don't love watching GTA too. Not really play. I'll play Jackbox and I'll play Among Us and stuff, but other than that, I'm not really much of a gamer, honestly. ASMR helps me a lot with my anxiety, so I'm big into that. Hmm. Oh, and Smosh YouTube. I think they're my favorite YouTubers. Been watching a lot of different YouTube lately, and honestly, just a lot of funny, random things. YouTube, you go down that rabbit hole. Like I'll just randomly watch like Family Feud funniest moments, because like I'll just go to, like there's so many good clips. Like YouTube is definitely one too.
Oh, I
So yeah, TikTok.
like.
Oh,
Oh
TikTok is
yeah,
even worse.
yeah. Sending you messages all the time.
Yeah,
I'm
I
so
know.
Yes, I because I'm always on there, especially like at
Yeah.
night. What like
Yeah.
right before I go to sleep, that's what I
I
do
know.
before I like scroll until I
Yeah.
and
I end up on the randomest sides of TikTok of things that I wasn't even interested in, but then suddenly I'm interested in. Like that's how my crystal collection. You can't. Oh, crystals are another thing too. I have a whole. I think at this point, I have well over 100 crystals at this point. Um, it's really bad. Chris TikTok got me started on that. I think it was late 2020, maybe late 2021. I have a whole crystal collection now. I'm on very random sides of TikTok. Like one of them is like satisfying lawn mowing. There's this one dude that I follows that has a landscaping company and like mowing, like just him watching him clean the property. It's just so satisfying. It's so random. But yeah,
don't worry.
TikTok
I
is
was
a
like, on for a while. One point I was on where they would clean the rugs.
yeah, oh my god, same, that too. Yeah.
I'm always like, what color is it gonna
Or they
be?
squeegee it, yeah, or they throw the gloop on there, the machine, the circle machine that you just go in
Yeah.
circles. It was so satisfying.
I'm just like, oh my god, it's so clean now. So,
I'm
so
still on that. I'm still
random.
on that side, you know. Very TikTok is a whole other conversation, maybe a future episode. Who knows? Who
Wait,
knows?
you get the ones I get them now like a lot is where the one they're playing Subway Surfers and then the Reddit stories going. I get those a lot.
Oh yeah. 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 A lot of Reddit stories on there too. Um Gosh, my TikTok page. I'm on like cat talk too as well. That's always fun to see. So many things, so many random things that's kind of embarrassing, which would take too long to get into. But we're at the end of the episode. Again, thank you everybody for not only watching, but I recently revived, took a little bit of a year of a break. But 5 years is crazy. And I have this one to thank partially for starting this journey with me, since kind of done different things, but I don't know when we'll reunite again. I don't know. Hopefully it's sometime soon. Samira, before we let you go, please let the listeners know where they can find you on social media and support you.
Well, first, happy 5 years. I'm so happy and proud of you. Like, who knew 5 years later this is where we would be? I'm so happy for you. You deserve
Certainly
it.
not me.
She works her ass off, guys. She works her ass off. Give her flowers. But you can find me on social media with my link tree, which is like linktr or is it dot dot THEITSSAMIRA. And that's where you'll find all my links for X, Instagram, TikTok, my merch for pro wrestling tees, or my just like for my autographs and trading cards. I got some cool stuff coming up. Obviously, shows. I'm always working shows, so you can come find me. And got some cool things in the works. I can't really talk about it right now, but it's coming soon. So yeah.
The time of recording this, like I said a couple days ago, my interview with Ali Albright was released. Over on WrestleZone, I had an interview with Myla Grace of Marigold released. That was a lot of fun. Have some future interviews coming up ahead of SummerSlam. I'll be at SummerSlam, so if you're going to be in Cleveland and you see me, please say hello. Um, After that, don't really know. I'm planning to be at WrestleCade in November. Have my flight booked. So I will be there. Planning some other things in early October, but that's really non-wrestling stuff that we don't need to get into. But I'll have some content there posted. In the meantime, though, again, wow, 5 years. Like look at us. Look at us. You know that meme? Who would have thought? Look at us. Who would have thought? Here we are now, 5 years later, half a decade. Feel old yet?
Very old. The
Yeah, it's crazy.
fact that we're
Also,
gonna know each
this
other
year
for
is our 10-year anniversary, 10-year friendship anniversary. Crazy. Crazy. She knew me before well, obviously you knew me because you're on the first episode before this, but she knew me well before these days. Just saying. I'm proud of her. I mean, hopefully when I download this, it shows that I'm pointing directly. Actually, yeah, you're gonna be no, you're gonna be over here. I don't know. Whatever which way, I'm proud of her, and all of that. You can follow me on twitter.com/it's Ella J. My milkshake link is very similar to a link tree. All my links and all of that are in there to my projects, writing, and podcasts. And you can follow a wrestling gal. We are now back. We've been back for about 2 months. Got some future interviews lined up in the next couple of weeks with some hot indie stars from the UK, from the US, and from Australia. You'll just have to stay tuned to find out. Thank you so much again, guys, for supporting. Happy 5 years to a wrestling gal, and cheers to hopefully 5 more. Thank you so much.